Pretty much. Tim Tebow was on First Take talking about how California just recently passed the legislation saying that college football players should be paid for their likeness and things of that nature. Yeah. So Tim Tebow got on First Take and was like, hey, he disagrees very vehemently. Saying that that it was a honor for him. It was he did it because for his family, he did it for the alumni, he did it for the school. He didn't do it to get paid. And then you have somebody like Des Bryant who put on Twitter his birth certificate, which was kind of impactful and kind of moving. Was that it showed that his mom was single and things of that nature. And he was like, "This is what I did it for." And I was like, "Wow!" This is a huge debate that I think that there's both sides to see it. I think that that there can be both sides in terms of what people are positive and negative. So it's kind of what I want us to talk about.
Here's my
He's a baseball player now.
Here's my elementary disagreement with it. One of the college coaches are one of the highest paid people in their state. In many aspects, and so the people, the team that they're coaching and the players that they're using, I feel like should also get some of that to some extent, in my opinion. Because if the coaches are paying that much to coach these kids, or students, why aren't the people they're using to get those? I can't even quantify how much they make, but I know they make.
Dude, it's million. In the South, bro. The NFL is popular. It's popular. Right. And it's probably more popular than college football.
Some people like college football.
That's only because the NFL has big markets like LA and Chicago and New York. And there's no college football team in those areas.
I'm about to say, but if you're in Alabama, South Carolina,
anything below the Mason-Dixon line, the Georgia Bulldogs are more important than the Falcons.
Right.
Texas Longhorns are second to the Cowboys in the state.
The Texas Longhorns, the Texas Longhorns are bigger than the Houston Texans.
The list goes on.
It's not even.
God in the South.
It's not even.
The Terps look more important than the rest.
And that dude get paid too. The Terps coach
Bro, but I mean that was always one of my biggest problems with like you said earlier, coaches are getting multi-million-dollar deals. There's no way that people like Dabo Sweeney and Nick Saban should make as much money as they are, and these kids are sitting around scrambling to get meals and stuff like that. And then you see ESPN will show you, they got this brand new training facility, and you're like, you could at least let these kids go ahead and get paid for their likeness, even if because the other half of that is some of that still with that new thing that Lee's talking about is still not going to end up paying the athletes from the NCAA. It's the athletes are getting paid from endorsements and things like that. They'll be able to do advertising or be able to sell their likeness for things if they want to do lessons or things like that. Basically, they'll be able to get paid for their likeness. So it's I don't think anybody's really have a problem with that because NCAA still ain't paying these kids. They'll have to still get out here and get it themselves. They'll be able to get it, but it's still Tim Tebow shouldn't be mad in my opinion because half of the issue is still null. The NCAA ain't gonna be paying these kids.
Basically, fuck Tim Tebow. I just don't understand.
To be honest with you, you can't get mad at Tim Tebow.
Why?
Because he comes from a different background.
But that's privilege.
Okay,
that's still privilege.
It's 2019.
But we still
get it, bro. But you gotta look at it this way. There's two sides of the coin.
What's the other side? This is all right, listen. We can talk logistics because logistically, not every school in the country can pay athletes. I understand that. And then you're talking about a straight moral issue. There is no flip side. It's evil that the kids don't get paid. That's what it is. There's no gray area. There's no gray area.
I feel like you can't just go out and just give kids the money and give them an opportunity to go and do endorsements because then that's a distraction from the collegiate football career and from the academics. So
that's bullshit.
I get not giving them money directly, but at least let them go to school for free or at least let them get.
So all right, so college education is so important, right? So when all these little Silicon Valley people can drop out of their Ivy League schools and make millions and get all and have their faces plastered, all that those are distractions too, right? When Mark Zuckerberg can drop out of Harvard or Meg Thee Stallion can be in college and go and do all these shows and be all these. That's a distraction, right? That's what we're talking about. Let's have the same energy for everything, not just sports.
What are you talking
about?
Y'all saying it's a distraction. You're saying it's a distraction.
I'm saying it's a distraction if I give
all these people I mentioned are making money despite being in college.
Not from the school though.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about they're using different avenues. I'm talking about like, say for example, college football A, he was like, he's top 3 in jersey sales, right?
Yeah.
And there's some type of kickback that he gets. Say this guy, he's in college, bro. He's going out buying cars, buying all this stuff. You don't think that's a distraction in terms of a kid being able to have?
What is why do we get college educations for what?
Not these kids.
Why?
Most of these kids don't go to school for college education.
What did you get your college education to do?
To go
when
get
you
a
graduate?
job.
And why do you have a job?
Money.
What do you mean? Because I went to school. What are you talking about?
No,
why did you get a college degree as opposed to not getting a college degree?
To get money, to get more money.
To get more money. To get a job.
Okay, so he got his. So the person in your story got to their goal quicker than you did. So I don't understand the difference. He just got his goal quicker. He wants to make money, so he got money. I don't understand.
You understand his mindset at that age, bro. If somebody gave me $100,000 when I was fucking 18, 19, you
we
think
do
I
it
would
to NBA players all the time.
a football player.
Okay.
We got NFL players struggling.
So Mark Zuckerberg, he shouldn't get money then. No one under 21 should get.
I'm just saying, bro. We give financial literacy classes to brand new rookies in the NFL.
That's a completely different argument.
Well, that's a completely
it's a
different
way.
First of all, nobody's saying giving these kids millions of dollars because that's just logistically not possible. That's not what's happening.
Give them 100. That's still a lot of money, bro. So somebody that's never came from nothing.
But then basically, what you're
So
arguing
what's the
for would be a
difference
system.
between what's the difference between a college kid getting money and anybody else making money in college? Like I don't understand. Like why are they so?
Who's making money in college like that though?
Anybody
Who's making hundreds of thousands of dollars like that?
Any entrepreneur and like what is the difference between
okay,
them? Why are they?
You're talking about 1 out of 1,000, bro.
We're talking about 1 out of 1,000.
What do you mean? I'm talking about people that are spanning from the NCAA. I'm talking about entire cases, bro. Like you're just talking about one out of somebody.
We're talking about players from like Power 5 schools from the SEC. That's at most how many people
one kid in every school that you'll market like that that'll make super money.
So, like,
basically, it is equivalent. But
the punter on Alabama's not going to make $100,000.
I get that, but I'm saying in terms of that, it's got to be at least a wide receiver, got a running back. Like, what do you mean, bro? Like entire Alabama, bro, got like 10 players.
All right, I just said logistically it can't happen. I'm talking about a moral issue. You're saying, oh, he'll spend on this.
Well, you say he'll be.
I understand his concerns.
Right,
he's not.
Explain it.
No, I'm not going to explain it, but I understand people are going to argue the same thing he's saying. Why are they getting like actual cash?
Wait, and
let me finish. He's people are going to argue why are they giving students like cash at that young age? But like I feel like there's other way. At least they should be compensated. They should be compensated in some way. Even if that cash can go directly to schools, to finance, like
it can go to a fund. Like as soon as they graduate, or when they do
or scholarship, stipend. Like
so, when I turn 18, I can join I can take my choice of military branches to go and make money with that. I can do that, but I can't get paid for being good at football.
Argue the fact that I can go, grab a fucking gun or something like that.
Wait, just for the record, you said it's a distraction from their studies. Their sport is a distraction from their damn studies, so that's like the starting point is a distraction. If I tear my ACL, guess what? I ain't studying, nigga. I'm popping perks. I don't want to feel the pain. So I mean, what? I'm just saying there are distractions already.
Education is important.
But
education is important.
Education has never not been important, but the legitimate argument that most people that are anti to this stuff make now is that they get a free education. That's already their argument, and so it becomes cool. They get a free education, but how many do you know how many of these players still need other stuff outside of their tuition paid? Like, yo.
No, that's why it becomes bills don't pay themselves.
The biggest thing becomes if you do talk about paying them, you do have. That's one of the biggest reasons why you can't pay them is just all the fact that it's hard to figure out a tiered system to figure out how to give them their money. But just in general, the thought of paying
as a moral issue,
No, I agree with that. I agree they should be compensated. I agree.
I'm saying my agreement is they should be compensated. My argument is the fact that. How should they be compensated?
Well, that's something that nobody's figured out yet. That's why it hasn't happened. Nobody can figure that part out. But like the thing of just saying like we can't give them money, bro. We give NBA players out of the same age as those college kids more dollars, and not all of them do destroy their lives. Like but if you do give them money, it does have to be a systemic overhaul, and you do have to teach financial literacy and a whole bunch of other stuff. You're right about that part, but it's just like. There is no right way to do it, but it does need to get done. That's what
something needs to be done. I just don't understand, like how, like because a lot of people, like, it's American. Like you're at the top 1% of your profession, and you can't get paid off of it. If an 18-year-old comes up with a cure for cancer tomorrow in his basement, you best believe you're gonna get paid for it. So like,
That's the farmer, bro.
What's the difference between that and being I can run a 4.3 and I have a 80-inch vertical and all
They
that
can
shit?
come up with something. I'm sure they can come up with something like pay starters different than second string or pay second string different than third string. They can come up with something. But I just think like just having like a guided compensation for them as opposed to just loose cash. That's all I was saying.
Like, I mean, I just don't see how you can sit there and look at the money that Nick Saban makes.
That's what
and Debo, like these coaches are making just
and then they show you these new lockers
Right.
like, oh, we have video games and massage chairs.
like
Nigga, I gotta pay
They're
bills.
doing that on purpose though, to show that like, hey, these kids are good. We don't need to pay them. Nah.
No, but they need something because the same way the coaches like coach these players into like their max potential or whatever. These student athletes are bringing the school a lot of money.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're bringing them a lot of money.
Like, I went to Drexel University. We have no good sports. We were good at basketball my first year. They took that 1 year where they almost made the tournament, made all these upgrades to the arena, to the buildings and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and not to mention, we're talking about football. Out of all, as great as Alabama is, what, maybe 10, 12 people off their team are going to have careers in the NFL? Like, most of the kids aren't even going to make the NFL. They're not even a chance to make the money.
That's why
They're not even get the chance to make any of the money.
Nah, education is important.
So, like, it's not like they're just going to make the NFL. No.
Well, the
Like,
biggest thing that you have to change is stuff like, oh, okay, well, if I don't get drafted, I can come back to school and finish my education for free. I want a continuance of my free education. That's the part that we need to institute in terms of that.
They don't get that.
No, once you leave, you can't come back and get it for free. You already gave up your NCAA. You gave up all your NCAA
Oh, you're
stuff.
talking about when you declared and
You declare. If you declare and you go and it don't work out, maybe you should be able to come back.
which most likely it won't.
Yeah, I'll say so. Man, maybe they don't handle this like for the NBA kids. That's why they put the new deadline in for a lot of them to come back, so that they can realize, yo, I'm not ready. I need to come back. But if I'm a kid that went out here, got an agent, did the process, and I fell through in the NBA and it didn't work out, I can't come back. I can't come back. And so it's one of the things where, maybe we need to fix those type of things if we're going to talk about paying for education. If we want, education is important. You're not wrong, but it's the way that you have to go about it. These kids deserve money, but if they do need to go back for the education, we need to set up the system so that they can do that and realize the importance of it.
I just don't like the education is important thing because, like,
No, it is though.
I mean, it is.
Listen,
I get
fallback.
it. Listen,
Yeah,
I get it.
fallback.
It's important.
It's fallback.
You're there for college, but it's just like that like is never to anybody else who just drops out of college and then they make something of themselves. Like, oh, I was a college dropout and all that. No one ever says, oh, well, you shouldn't have been doing whatever idea you had. You should have been focusing on your chemistry 101 homework. But when poor black athletes are like they're the subject of the debate. Oh, they should be in school doing it.
I said
No,
that.
but
Yeah,
the thing with
yeah,
football
like,
players
right.
and athletes in particular, especially in football, and where you can get an injury,
That's
and
what I'm
even
saying.
at practice, you can end your
What am I
career,
talking
you
about?
potentially get a life disabling like injury, like on the field. Like they need to have something else. They need to be able to learn certain things in order.
Yeah.
If I can't play football anymore, I need to have some type of trade. Because a
Stop
lot of these
majoring in
kids,
BS majors.
And you know what?
yeah, some of them
And
do
you know what?
that.
That's all I'm though.
And you know what,
I know,
though?
player.
And you know what makes it even worse for Tim Tebow to say that? Because Tim Tebow should understand. He was a terrible prospect coming out of the draft, but he got drafted because he was, let's be honest, he was a white quarterback who had he had no mechanics, had no athletic ability, to be honest with. He was black, he wouldn't even got drafted. He went in the first round. Lamar Jackson barely made it in the first round of the draft, and people told him to be a running back in XYZ. Tim Tebow did all that. He got all that, got multiple chances in the NFL, and he flamed out. But you know why he's okay with saying that? Because he got hella endorsements and all that shit coming out of there. Because he was Tim Tebow, and he was this cool white quarterback who won shit for the Gators. Like, he got endorsements with milk and all this other shit. Like, so it's easy for him to say that, oh, they'll need to get paid because, I mean, my career didn't work out. But then he got the opportunity to go play damn baseball just because he's Tim Tebow. Right. He's only on the Mets, he's only in the Mets farm system because he's Tim Tebow. And they can sign and they can sell whatever minor league bullshit. Bingham Mets jerseys, they can, that's probably one of their highest selling jerseys because it's Tim Tebow.
No, I definitely thought it was bullshit what Tim Tebow said. It was very privileged. It was very,
Right.
I mean, my man even said he was like, "Yo, I had like the number 3 like jersey in the U.S. at that time."
That's not. Did you find somebody to disprove that? That's believable as hell.
No, he said it was like behind Kobe.
I'm about to, yeah,
I'm sure it was.
I'm about to say, I thought you were saying like that.
No, I'm saying like I believe it.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
he was
about to
like,
say,
yo,
I believe it.
I was behind Kobe in
Johnny
Jersey.
Manziel.
He was like, I didn't get no money. I did. I was
He
like,
said
bro,
that
like,
with pride.
Like,
He's
yeah.
an
And you know, he kind of had me believing. You know how 10 people talk. I was like, yeah, I believe you.
He sounds like a preacher. He's passionate.